Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be learning about non-verbal reasoning, vertical codes. So let's get started. Okay, what does our first shape tell us? So we have B, and A. So what's the same between the first one and the last one that's different between the middle one? It's actually the trapezium that's at the bottom of the shape. So, let's see. Here we have a rectangle, which there's also a rectangle in A. So, our first letter is A. So, now, let's see. Let's cancel out which ones that don't start with A. So we cancel out A, we cancel out B, and we cancel out D. Look how many we cancelled, just eliminating. Now, let's go to our second letter. So we have a G, and F. So, the same thing between the last two, that's different from the first. It's actually the arrowheads pointing out of our shape. We have triangles pointing. But in our first one, we have circles. So that leaves our answer to be AF, which is answer C. Did you get that answer? Well done if you did it. Let's go on to the next shape. Okay, wait. Before I tell you this one, let me tell you a code I always remember when I do vertical codes to ace through the test. It's actually a code called snaps with a double S on the end, because S stands for shapes, N stands for number, A stands for angles, P stands for position, and the next S stands for size, and the last S stands for shading. So, here we have A, B, C. Do you think we should use snaps in this code? Yes, we should. So, shape, let's start from the first. Shape, all the shapes are same, but they have different letters, so it can't be shapes. Next, number. They all have 3 lines, so it can't be number. Let's look at the next one, angles. Angles don't really matter in this shape. Position, they're all in the same position. Size, they're also all in the same size. But the last one matters. The last one is shading, which they all have different shading inside our mic. So here we have a black mic. And in A, we also have that. So our first letter starts with A. So let's cancel B and D. We cancel 2. So let's look at our next letter. Our next letter is X and Y. So what do you think the same things are there in the first one and last one that's different from the middle? Okay, how about you take a look at snaps and try? Okay, you did it. It is shading again. If you look closely at our shape, here we have dotted lines, but in Y we have solid lines. So here we have a solid line, which leaves our answer to end with Y, which gives our answer as E. Yes, we're getting there with snaps. Try it out with the next one. You'll surely ace this. Okay, Did you get your answer? If not, pause the video for some more time. Let's get into the questions. So, our first letter is C, C, B. The first two are the same and the last one is different. So, let's look at our shapes. Here we have two outlines. In the second one, we also have two outlines. But in the last one, we only have one outline. And that does follow the letters. So, let's have a look. This only has one shading. So this must leave our first answer to be B. So let's cancel out the last two options. Now we have K, L, K. What do you notice about the arrows? Yes, the first one and the last one are both pointing up, but the middle one is pointing sideways, horizontally. So here we have the same shape as I've drawn here, and that's an option L. So it must end with L, which leaves our answer to be B. Did you get that answer? If not, keep trying, you'll ace it and you'll do it. Our next one, B, A, B. What's the same between the first one and last one that's different between the middle one? Okay, this is a little bit of a harder one. Let me explain it. Well, it can't be shading in our snaps, but it definitely is shape. If you haven't noticed, here we have a hexagon, but its point is at the top, which is the same with here. Top, top. But our middle one, there's no point at the top. So, let's see. We don't have a point here. So what do you think our first letter is? You would be right. It starts with A. Let's eliminate some of our answers. Which options would you cancel? Again, you would be right. We would cancel A, B, and E. So we're left with B and C. Now, let's find the second letter. Okay, X, X, and Y. What's same between our last two that's different from our first one? Yes, this was an easy one, because of its shading, which is grey, grey, black. Here we have shading as black, which leaves our second letter to be Y, which leaves our answer to be C. You're getting there, don't worry. We have plenty of more questions for you. How about you try this next one? I'll give you a clue with the first letter. Look at size. Okay, did you work out our first letter? Yeah, did you get J? Well, if you did, you're correct. Let me explain it to you. So, it's actually because of these ones are like tiny, K and K, but J is massive. And in our question, it's massive, which leaves our first letter to be J. Which two options would you cancel? Yeah, you're right. B and E. Let's look at our next letter. R, P, Q. Okay. This is because of shading. Our first one is grey in colour, our second one's black in colour, and our last one's white in colour. Our shape here is white in colour, which leaves our second letter to be R, which is C. Did you get that? Try the next one with your parent. Do you think you got the right answer? Okay, let's do it together. So, A, B, C. They're different. But why? Yeah, it's because our paperclip are in different positions on our paper. So in our shape, it's at the very start of our paper. So it's the exact same as A. So our letter must start with A. So we can cancel out. Did you cancel those options out? Well done. Now our second letter, T and U. TT. Why are those two same and the middle one's different? Think about it. It's actually because of a fold in the paper. Here we have it in our right corner, but in this middle one we have it in our left corner. Here we have it in our left corner as well, which leaves the answer as AU. Is it correct? Yeah, we got it correct. Our next one. X, and Y. So what's the same between the first one that's different to the last one? Did he use snaps? Yeah. Did he get the first letter? Okay, so our first letter would be Y. And how did I get this? Well, it's because our first and second shape are the exact same shapes, and the last one's different. So here we have the exact same shape, which leaves our first letter to be Y. So let's cancel A, B, and D. Okay, now let's look at our second letter, J, K, J. What do you think that's different between the middle one that's the same for the first two? Well, it's not shape, it's not shading, it's not number, it's not angles, and it's not position. Which one is it? Which one have I left out? Yeah, I left out size, and size was the actual reason why the first and last one were the same. So here, ours is small. So our second letter would be K, which leaves our answer to be C. Yeah, we got that again. You're rocking it. Now, how about you work out the first letter and I'll work out the second letter? Okay, I've gotten the second letter in my head. Have you gotten the first letter in your head? Okay, let's work it out. L, M, M. M and M are the exact same because they don't have a circle in the middle, which L has. So our figure has a circle in the middle, which leaves our first letter to be L. And now, this is what I got for my second letter. So we have P, Q, P. And it's because of our outer shapes, which is the same between the first and last one. In the first one we have a circle, second one, last one we have a circle, but in the middle one we have a hexagon. And in our shape we have a hexagon. So that's the same as Q. So let's add a Q at the end. So our answer would be D. And don't forget to cancel. We would have cancelled M and M in our first letter, and we would have cancelled A and B in our second letter. Is D correct? Yes. Let's try our next one. A, B. What's the same in our first two that's different in the last one? Yeah, you've got it. It's a circle in the right side corner, which here it's in the left down side corner. Here we have it in the left side, which leaves our first letter to be B. And in our second letter, we have M, N, and O. They're all different. And that's because of the black shape in the middle. So what do you think our last letter would be? Yeah, we did forget to cancel. Now what do I think? Yes, you would be absolutely correct. It's a BN, which leaves our answer to be B. And if you don't know why I'm saying the answers, it's literally here in the corner. Let's move on to the next shape. Okay, so our next one says P, S, R. They're all different. Why? This might have not been a straightforward one, but it's because of its shading. So our out ones, R represents dashes, S represents small dashes, and P represents solid. So here we have solid, which leaves our first letter to be P. Okay, here we cancel out quite a few options. Next letter, X, Y, and X. So, in snaps, what was the first code for? Do you remember it or not? Well, let me remind you. It starts with snaps. And the S stands for, shapes. So, here we have an oval, but in Y we have a circle. Here we have a circle, so it must be PY, which is option C, which is our answer. Let's try the next one. KKL. Okay, this I think might have been a straightforward one for some of you, and it's because our rectangles are pointing up, whilst L is sleeping sideways. So here we have the shape which is sleeping, and that's L. So let's cancel. Wow, we cancelled a lot. Now let's look at our second letter, PRB. Why is this? Can you tell me the same thing between the first one and last one that's different in the middle? Yes, it's because of shading. Here, our ones are hatched, which leaves our second letter to be R. Did he get to you? If he didn't, we have about 10 more questions to do. Yeah. Our next one, A, B. So our first are the same, which leaves the last one to be different. It's actually because, can you guess? Okay. And also guys, let me give you a top tip. If you can't work out the first letter, don't be bothered to. Let's look at the last letter first, and then let's eliminate, and then let's do our first letter. So, here we have X, Y, and X. So, our first one and last one have black shading, and the middle one has white. And here we have white, so our last letter must end with Y. Now, let's see A, B. What's the same between the first one and last? Yep. You may have not noticed it, which I didn't either at first, but it's actually that if you look at this outside shape, it's just a little bit more thicker than these ones. So our ones are thin, so it must start with A, which leaves our answer to be E. Is that the answer? Yes. Let's move on. S. Ooh, these ones are long. So, what do you think we should do? S, R, R, P. Yes, you're absolutely right. The same thing we do with our 3 shape ones. So, R and R are same. Why? Because the shapes at the bottom are the same, which is a circle. Here we have a triangle, and P represents a triangle. So it's out of P. Let's cross out our options that it can't be. There, we've made it much more simpler. Our second letter is Y, Y, X, Z. Y and Y are the same because they're both pointing in the same direction. So this one, our shape, is pointing to the left, which Z does, so it ends with Z, which leaves our answer to be D. Okay, why is that? Because they both have brackets, like a circle, half circle. Here it looks like we have a half of a hexagon. Would you say that? So it ends with X. So let's cancel. So we cancelled out all of our options, which leaves B to be the answer.